Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today we are going to discuss a recent outing over to Disney Springs. We're going to cover a couple of things that we took care of this past weekend, and we have some actual news headlines that aren't a bunch of bullshit and one that is. So, I'm going to lean into the bullshit headline of the week thing because I can't stop finding them now. And and shocker this time around, it's not the same author. It's not even the same publication. So
what?
Yeah. So there's that to look forward to later on in the show. But first, Amanda.
Yes.
We went over to Disney Springs this past weekend, did we not?
We did.
And we did a couple of different things, actually. We took
Those new.
I know. We took care of Mother's Day shopping.
We did.
And had something shipped. And then we also had dinner. So first things first, happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. A belated one,
Yes.
obviously. A nice solid week and a day after your day. Am I finally wishing that to my mother, your mother, my grandmothers, so on and so forth. All the moms. Happy Mother's Day.
This actually, if I could pull up a calendar, that'd be great. This will come out actually the day before my mom's birthday.
So okay.
Well, birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday, Amy.
And Heather and Alyssa.
Yes, to all of the above. And do we have any other special shout outs? Does anybody else on the staff need to shout out?
Oh, and my Aunt Nancy's birthday is the day after my mom's. I think that covers it.
Any other personal business? No? Okay. All right. So, let's talk about what we did for mom and your mom, and that's it. We didn't do anything for anybody else. We decided that we wanted to get some smell 'em goods, as I call it. And usually we would go over to the Disney Marketplace Co-op,
right?
To purchase some sort of aroma, scent or fragrance diffuser oil, or perhaps park-inspired candles. And that's no longer in existence.
No, because they now have their own storefront at Disney Springs.
They have their own standalone candle store. What is the name of this?
So this is, I believe it's pronounced Bose. It's Bowes. It's Bose Signature Candles. So they've been in the co-op. They were in the co-op since 2017. And then in October of last year, so October of 2023, they finally got their own storefront, which tells you how often we go over. It's over on the west side, and that tells you how often we go over there, because I didn't know about this until March.
Well, unfortunately, they're moving in means that I need to say rest in peace to just the one bit of, I don't even want to say debauchery, like the one bit of like, oh, this is here, so it might be PG. Yeah. And that would be Sosa's Family Cigars. Right. Now, I'm sure that the Sosa family is going to be just fine. And I do find the irony delicious that a candle store was opened up in a cigar shop.
Yep.
But I'm kind of bummed that not enough people are smoking, I guess, these days to warrant a cigar shop at Disney World. I mean,
it also is, for nostalgia's sake, for me, a little bit of a bummer. and nostalgia on two fronts. First of all, that era of downtown Disney, I kind of miss a little bit.
Sure.
When you had, the, you know, Marketplace and Pleasure Island and West Side. But
Mhm.
also my grandfather was a big cigar smoker. Like how most people smoke cigarettes is how he smoked cigars. I don't remember seeing that man without a cigar in his mouth. So the smell of cigars always just like brings back memories of my grandfather. So I did kind of like walking by Sosa's for that
I
reason.
just look, if for all of you cigar smokers who are concerned, you can of course purchase cigars at any one of the resort gift shops, as well as over at the pro shops of the golf course. I am certain that you can still find cigars. In fact, I'm certain that you can get off property in 5 minutes and find a cigar
Yeah.
shop. So,
They are still here.
they're tobacco is still allowed
Mhm.
until further notice. But at the end of the day, here I am a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. But moving on to the smell 'em good portion,
Yeah.
I walked into that Bose Bowie's Bowie's.
Bose. I'm saying Bose.
I'm saying Bowie's. I walked into Bowie's and I immediately was overwhelmed. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but like, first of all, I have no idea what the hell anybody else finds to be a pleasant smell. Like I know everybody's like foul smells. That one's easy because everybody bitches about the foul
Right.
smells. So, but nobody walks around, going, "Oh, this smells delicious. This." And I mean, I'm sure that they do to a degree, but also nobody remembers because nobody fucking cares. So walking into any sort of shop like that and being asked or tasked rather with picking those kinds of fragrances for others, it's a daunting thing.
Here's hoping that your mother really likes the scents because I'm the one that had to pick those
Mhm.
out. You
Well,
weren't
hold
no
up,
help to me.
that's not true. I ended up actually picking the two that we sent to my mother.
After I
So
sat there and kind of like kept on
forced
to
the
you
issue.
and
Yes.
then, couldn't make a decision because again,
I'm sorry. Got like I just said, it was overwhelming. It's a lot. It is a lot to walk into one of those stores because not only do you have to determine what fragrance or scent palette, if you will, that you are looking for. Then on top of that, you have to figure out: does my mother have a wax melter? Does she
mhm,
go with original candles? What size candle do we have?
do we want a
Does
room
she have?
spray? Do we want diffusers? Do we
Do,
want
does she have one of those snake oil machines that are popular on Amazon for like 24.95? All of these questions like came to mind while we were in there, and like that's a lot for something
Mhm.
that I'm like, okay, it smells okay.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I liked it, but
I
I
mean,
like
it's
candle
not.
stores.
It's not that I don't like them. It's that it's a difficult task to pick something out for someone else as
No,
a
that I
gift.
totally in fact, to the point where we came home with a candle for ourselves.
Yes. Why? Because we found that smell nice. Okay. And the
And
scent
I wouldn't put
that
the
we
candle down.
yeah. The fragrance that we ended up going with for my mother, anyway, we went with two different ones. The Florida Ocean, which had kind of a coconut and citrus smell added to what you would buy from Publix or your local grocery store or Target or whatever, with a ocean smelling candle, I guess.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
we
gonna pull
also
up. Here's the actual description if you would like me to, because they
sure
state
dispute
that's what
everything
it
that I
has.
just said.
Well, it's coconut honey, um, cedarwood. Yeah, those are the scents that they mentioned. Honey, coconut, and
Gotcha.
cedarwood.
There we go. All right. So not citrus. I thought I detected notes of orange, but whatever. It's fine. Um, and then we also selected the sea salt scent, and we're going to recommend the sea salt scent to as just a generic scent that you can pick
Mhm.
out for literally anyone who's ever been to Disney World. Why? Because it
It
smells exactly like the fucking
H2O
soap.
subs. If you are
And
missing those H2O soaps, this is the candle for you.
yep,
Um,
absolutely it is.
the notes are sea salt, peppermint, and cedar in that one. And it smells wonderful. And we're almost done. We're almost done with this candle, so we need another one. Should got the bigger one.
So also when you are coming to this store, be prepared. And what I mean by be prepared is one, because it's at Disney Springs and it's not the biggest of stores and it's still kind of new and it's popular with women. It's not like a boys club like Sosa's was. That place is fucking packed. It is
Yeah.
like you are in there like a can of sardines.
It's also, not only is it the storefront, but just like they had the candle making area at the co-op, they have the same thing in the store. So part of the store is taken up by, people making candles.
Feels like this should have been put over where that ticket center
Yeah,
is.
this needed this needed a little bit of a bigger location.
Yeah. And maybe it's that they couldn't afford it. I don't know. But the point
From
being for what
from
they
what I
wanted to do,
from what
from
I
what
gathered, sorry.
can no, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, from what I gathered, this seems to be like a locally owned business. And I think this is their only storefront. This is the only storefront they mentioned on their website. Um, so this may be kind of a trying to get out type thing and seeing what they need.
Well, anybody with a half a brain could have told you that when you try to shove somebody into, or I don't know, 100 people into 144 square feet, things aren't going to go well, especially when then you're surrounded by all sorts of fragrances, including but not limited to all of the nice ones on the wall and all the bad ones off of people's bodies. It is a very difficult experience to kind of muster through. On top of that, like many Disney gift shops, you are able to ship things home and as a means to not have to carry certain things on a plane, which is nice. Make absolutely no mistake. But also, like, we caught the cashier that didn't know what she was doing to ship all that stuff, and that's more of a training issue than anything. I'm not judging her specifically, but it
She
did
had just never done shipping before.
and that's something that should be taught, I feel like, when you're teaching the register. You know, I'm not making I'm not trying to put the blame on her. I'm trying to put the blame on the company. So I feel like they should have recognized that they needed a bigger storefront, especially if they wanted that interactive
Mhm.
experience with the candle making part. And also, you kind of need to make sure that everybody that you have on staff knows what they're doing, or maybe don't let them work the register.
I mean, having worked retail and in a place, because I worked at Bath and Body Works in college.
Mhm.
So worked at a similar type of place. I can understand, like shipping. I don't know how many, how much they actually do shipping. We asked about it, and I think also part of this was our fault because we asked after we had already like started the transaction. I think had we said something like before she started the whole transaction, it would have been a little bit of a smoother,
Maybe.
experience with that. But I mean, I think part of that is our fault because she was already pretty much done before we were like, "Oh, hey, do y'all ship, by the way?" And then she kind of had to like start over.
O
So I put some of that on us as well for that.
okay, but that's your standard Disney customer. I hate to say it, there is always that kind of FOMO when it comes to buying something, and then there's always that additional need, especially on vacation, especially with something like the lightsabers or any of the other various souvenirs that might be a little bit larger for so many people that are traveling by plane. So
No,
I
and I
don't
get
think that
that.
I don't think that it's a tough ask, or it should not be a tough ask, I should say, for anyone who is part of the Disney ecosystem of stores to know what you're doing and how to do it. The reason why I'm harping on this is that she just literally didn't know, and she had to bring in the manager to come over and do it. that's the reason why I'm harping on it. Sweetie, I get it. Like, it's not your fault. It's actually the manager's fault at that point, or the company's fault.
Also, that particular the register area is really tiny. Again, the store itself is tiny, so the register area. So I kind of also felt like we were in the way because there was other people also wanting to check out. And we're taking up time because we went mailed these directly to our moms, so we're having to do essentially 3 different transactions because we had the candle that we bought for ourselves, and then we had to do two separate transactions for our moms because they were going to 2 separate addresses. Um, so yeah, that part was
Okay.
not as smooth as I would have liked it to be, but yeah.
That's all well and good. I get what you're saying. I'm going to end this part on me trying to bash Disney because, again, I'm going to bash Disney on this. Don't roll your eyes at this. They deserve it. Okay. So, and the reason why I'm saying it is because they make my life more difficult with Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes and theme park reservations and God knows how many other different barriers to entry it is to do anything over at the parks. Guess what? If you're going to offer a service, you need to make sure that the people who are on the ground know what they're doing. Okay? It's not I'm not trying to be mean to the cast member or to the employee in general. I am harping on the management. Again, it's just not
I mean, it's
living
also
up
not a
to that.
Disney-owned company, but okay.
Stop defending them. They fucked up. There, I said it. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5, what are you rating this thing?
A 4.
A 4? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What could they have done to make it perfect?
I think it needs to be a little bit of a bigger storefront. Is my main complaint there.
Okay.
It does need to be bigger.
All right.
And I think the shipping the checking out process with the shipping could have gone a little bit smoother.
Fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1. And the biggest reason why is because you kept trying to defend the situation, and I don't care about whether or not we're making Disney's life or anybody who works in that Disney ecosystem's life more difficult. Disney as a company makes my life more difficult, so I don't give a shit. That is basically what I'm getting at here. Also, I'm a dude. I like smelling good smelling stuff. That's perfectly fine, but it's not like the whole setup is just not ideal for someone of my stature, my general disposition, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not for me. And so I'm not going to rate this very high as a result. You defending them notwithstanding, it's just things could have been done so much better, and like just from the jump. And I don't feel like this plan was completely thought through. I guess, in my opinion, anyway. But we also had dinner over at Disney Springs, and we had a quick service meal for a change. Why? Because you know what? That place was fucking packed.
It was so packed. It was so
We actually
packed.
had to wait in line to get into the parking garage.
Yeah.
That was
ridiculous.
strange.
Prom. There was a prom. I don't know what local high school is having their prom, but that was part of it. Then again, it was also Mother's Day weekend. Just all the things.
Yeah, and so dinner reservations were few and far between. Everything that we were kind of interested in eating had a 2-hour kind of wait time.
I think the earliest reservation time I was seeing was like 9:30.
Yeah, and it was 7:30 when we started, looking. So not about that life. I'm not standing around for 2 hours at an outdoor shopping mall. Instead, what we did was go over to kind of across the fake springs from Chef Art Smith's. We peeked into Blaze Pizza, and we originally thought that was a sit down style meal, but it's not. And instead, we went over to a D-Luxe burger.
D-Luxe burger.
D-Luxe. And now, as far as quick service locations go, I am certain that this is not owned or operated by Disney, and
It is. It
Is it
is. It is a
really?
Disney owned and operated restaurant. Yep.
Then for God's sake, use this template everywhere else. This was not the most expensive thing
No.
we've ever bought. For a
No.
change. I'm having a like an actual okay feeling about
Okay, but
spending that money there.
part of that is I got a kids meal.
So
I'm just saying that is
I
part of.
but at the same time, the food quality seemed to be much higher over at this location than it would ever be over at Sunny Eclipse
Oh yeah.
or at any of the other chicken finger and French fry locations
Mhm.
inside of Magic Kingdom. It still seemed to be of higher quality than anything I've ever eaten over at
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios. Um, it had it had some variety
Mhm.
for a quick service spot on
Mhm.
burgers. You
It
don't
did.
see that very often when it comes to that. Now, I, of course, chickened out on everything. So, mostly, although the pimento cheese and bacon burger did kind of pique my interest for a minute. And then I realized there's like weird shit inside of the pimento cheese. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell is in there. Like, pimento cheese is overrated, is what I'm saying. Even if it is like a master staple, like, nah, I'm not eating that shit. So is the egg salad. Ugh, that's disgusting. But
Yeah.
instead, I ended up having the bacon double cheeseburger. I think all the burgers on the adults menu um are doubles, if I'm not mistaken. And I think
Yeah, yeah,
all the kids ones are
they all say
single.
2 press signature patties, so yeah.
Yeah. And it's the burger by itself when it's on the menu, and you do have to order like a box of fries, or whatever. And if you get the large, certainly hell, I think if you get the regular, you can kind of share
We shared,
amongst two
yeah.
people. And you know what? That it hit the spot. It did. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was quicker than I expected it to be. Although we did have to wait on the food. We did have like a little buzzer, basically.
Yeah,
Did it have GPS on it or some shit? Like, how the hell did the
so,
guy
okay,
know?
so you had to s it is technically a quick service because you do order at a counter, and then they give you a buzzer, and then you go and find your own table. It was really busy because Disney Springs as a whole was really busy, but we finally found a table, and they have on the tables and they tell you when you get the buzzer to put it in the center because there's like I don't know if you noticed it, but there's like this big huge thing that says put
Yeah,
buzzer here. Um
I didn't notice it say that. I just saw that there was like a metal circle on the table.
yeah, so you put the buzzer there and that is what transmits the signal to them to let them know where you're at. Um I know this because there was a table that or a group that was a couple of tables away from us that
Hmm.
did not put the buzzer there where they were supposed
Oh,
to. And then the guy couldn't find them to bring them
oh.
their food.
I was off in my own little world, I guess. Didn't notice this at
um,
all.
but
And that's
yeah,
okay.
so
I,
yeah,
I,
it was. I liked that.
what kind of kids burger did you end up having?
I got the grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh,
I wish I would have gotten a burger because the chicken sandwich to me just wasn't that great. Um, yeah, it just really wasn't. I was wanting something a little bit different. I wasn't terribly like I wasn't starving, which is why I got a kids meal in the first place. Um, but let me tell you, their fries, those are my favorite type of fries.
yes, they were skin mostly on type
Oh,
fries,
I
and
love it's the fresh cut fries. I love those kind of fries. Oh, they're my favorites. Um, but yeah, I wasn't thrilled with the at least the kids chicken sandwich. Just it just wasn't. It tasted off to me. I didn't finish it.
look,
Um,
I got to be honest with you. You know, I kind of see potentially why, in the sense that look, there's a very large gap between quality and quantity with
mhm,
chicken. Like if you are a quick service location, I get why you can't necessarily provide the most high quality of
mhm,
products and everything. So it's not shocking to hear that. But uh, it's also the kids. I'm trying to now. I'm
Yeah.
going to try to defend this place. I'm going to flip the script on you, so to speak, and say whatever. Who cares? When it's a quick service location. How much was the kids' meal? $7.
The kids' meal was $8.49.
Not a killer. Not a
Not
killer.
a killer. It came with because you get 2 sides with it. So I got like a small thing of fries, and then I got some apple slices, and then a small fountain drink. And the fountain drinks are like you fill it up yourselves. They give you the cup and you go and fill it up, so you get free refills, which is nice.
There you go. We were able to kind of relax outside on a patio, and honestly, that does not happen very often where I get to relax on a patio. It feels more stressful sometimes to me sitting on a patio. I don't know the real reason why, but I think it's because I'm just afraid of being hot while I eat. But it was
This was the
pretty
sun had
decent
gone
temperature.
down.
Yeah.
The sun had gone down. It wasn't terribly. It wasn't a. It was a comfortable temperature wise night.
Well, overall, I happen to think that if especially when compared to other quick service
Yeah.
options, we've had a couple. BB Wolf springs to mind, or Earl Sandwich or whatever. Fuck both of those places compared to D-Luxe. I would definitely recommend coming here. Amanda, on a scale of 1 to 5 Ds, how many Luxies are you giving this to your location?
I'm actually going to give this a 4. The experience I think was good. Again, it is quick service. You order at the counter, but then they bring the food to you. You find your table and they bring it to you. And, like I said, the fries, I don't know of anywhere else on property that has those particular kind of fries. And those are my favorite. So that's always going to be any restaurant that has those kind of fries. Like that's always going to push your rating up with me. Again, I think had I had a burger instead of the chicken sandwich, my rating might be a little bit higher. But I'm definitely I do want to go back and try a burger from this place.
I'm going to give this a 3, but with an asterisk next to it. Okay. Because again, it's not the best burger I've ever had. Okay. It's good. It's a step above like McDonald's and Wendy's in terms of quality. Kind of on, I don't know that everybody in America has one of these, but like a BurgerFi or one of these newer type, Shake Shack type places. Something along those lines is like the kind of level that you're looking at here. And it is going to be a little bit more expensive than going to McDonald's or even going to the quick service at your resort potentially. But I think it's worth the extra money. The only problem that I really had is that seating in there was a nightmare. You could not get you couldn't get people to leave. First of all, I was staring down these 2 women who were sitting at a table of 2, and they were just chit-chatting, just laying back, enjoying the AC. Totally understand it. Get the fuck out of the chair.
It was on this particular night, especially. It was crazy to find a seat. I will say this is like I said, technically quick service. They offer mobile ordering, by the way, so there's that. But I kind of put it as a cross between quick and table service. Again, because they bring the food out to you, but also they have like a list of milkshakes, and like the fancy milkshakes. They're gelato milkshakes, by the way.
Oh, well.
And they also serve alcohol.
Well, I think most of the quick service locations at this point serve something outside of magic.
Well, they also have a cocktail, so there's that.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that makes them special, I guess.
But yeah, so it's a little bit more of an upscale quick service.
Fair enough. So there you go, guys. You have a couple of different recommendations for your Mother's Day and or quick service needs over at Disney Springs. Now, let's get to the news because there's just a lot to get to here. A couple of days ago, the Disney Parks blog announced that Tiana's Bayou Adventure will be opening up on June 28th, 2024. That is about a month and a half away from this recording. So
Happy birthday to you.
I guess close enough anyway.
Close enough. Right after your birthday.
Now, obviously, there's a lot more excitement for this attraction. In fact, a surprising amount, if I'm being honest with you. I think people really want Splash Mountain back. I certainly want it back, if for no other reason than it thins out the crowd a little bit at some of the other attractions. And God, Magic Kingdom desperately needs that.
Yeah, they do.
So
Jungle Cruise, I feel like, has been taking Splash Mountain's spot here lately.
Which is dumb because they're like, what? They both have water?
I don't know, but every time we look at like wait times, it's always like Jungle Cruise and Peter Pan. Peter Pan's always ridiculous, but Jungle Cruise here has been having a ridiculous wait time as of late.
Well, I still don't understand that. I think I come up with better jokes than all those skippers. So that hopefully this will help thin that out a little bit. However, I will say that it is going to be on a virtual queue. So there's not going to be a standby line. Make sure that you are prepped for all of that when you make your way down here. On top of that, you should also know, for all of you local pass holes like us who may or may not have made a reservation, guess what? They're all sold out for pass holder previews at Magic Kingdom. So good luck. We're not getting a pass holder preview, is what I'm saying.
Nope. We did not book one. So
no, we did not. And you know what? That's on us. We could have done better. But also, like, the demand seemingly is even higher than that for Tron or for Guardians, and that is kind of confusing me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, great feedback. All right, well, I guess that we're done with that one.
No, what did you, hold on? Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said.
I'm not sure the reason why. It seems very odd to me that this is getting a lot more, shall we say, attention, or is seemingly more difficult to obtain something like a pass holder preview than it was
than Guardians or Tron.
Yeah, and those would be bigger attractions in my mind.
I think like you said, people want Splash Mountain back. There was so much, I don't want to say, I guess controversy when they closed Splash Mountain. Plus, this is a princess ride. So you're attracting, little kids now. Whereas I feel like Guardians and Tron they're more, a little bit older crowd, I guess.
Okay. Before we move on from that point, I need to challenge you on this. Tron and Guardians both have a height requirement. And I know for a fact that Splash Mountain had a height requirement. So there's no way that they are removing said height requirement to bring in
I'm not saying they're removing a height. I'm saying the audience that is going to be interested in this is going to be younger than the audience that is necessarily interested in, especially Tron.
That I understand.
Guardians, so but again, this is a princess ride. When it's been a minute since we had a princess ride.
Oh, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think the popularity of Guardians would outweigh that of Princesses.
Yeah, but then you've got the popularity of Splash Mountain, and people are wanting to see how this is going to compare.
Well, certainly we do as well, but we're going to have to wait on.
We're going to have to wait.
There's no, I'm not fucking, making it a life's mission like some of these people to get on this attraction. So, let's see here. Speaking of Disney Springs, since we just covered it a little bit ago, there is a new drone show that will be debuting this upcoming May 24th. The show times for that are going to be 9 o'clock and 10:45. And it's called the Disney Dreams That Soar Drone Show. And we've caught a couple, or at least I have caught a couple of images that they've shown of the drone show.
Hmm.
I think it looks pretty cool. I'm surprised that they're not doing something like this over at Animal Kingdom instead of fireworks, because those things have got to be quieter than any firework. I mean, yeah, the bzzz sound is kind of annoying,
Yeah.
but it's got to be far enough away from the animals that you could, probably pull something like that off.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe they're
I think
just
so.
beta testing it over at Disney Springs and seeing what happens. I know that they did one of these drone shows a couple years ago for the holidays. And
Yeah.
it seemed to be pretty popular when that came out. Although I think that was during COVID, and we
Yeah.
didn't we did not get a chance to see it.
Yeah, it was, I think, poor timing on that one. So,
Well, shit
um,
happens.
we didn't see the drone show, so I'm interested to see how this new one is. I mean,
It
to be fair, we
does.
also
It also
haven't seen the new
gives
Epcot show.
it gives somebody an excuse to stick around a little bit longer over at Disney
Mhm.
Springs, or even go to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
That if nighttime entertainment is your thing, but maybe you don't see the value in wasting your time outside of the park, this would be something that is new and different that might
Yep.
draw you over there.
Yeah.
And perhaps that actually thins out the crowds a little bit at night at the parks, and maybe that makes it a little easier to catch a couple of last minute attractions. We'll have to
Yeah.
see how that translates over, obviously, but I like that they're doing something over at Disney Springs like this,
I do too.
and, and,
I do
and
too.
mostly because it's something that they're not charging for. And
Right.
God knows how many times on this here podcast and on the Notcast and on every other microphone that I can, get in front of. I've said that the cost for everything at Disney is ridiculous, and
Yeah.
stuff like this used to be way more commonplace than it is today. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that we're doing something this is kind of akin to me to the what's the damn thing called on Seven Seas Lagoon?
Oh, the water pageant?
Yeah, it's like that. It's something else, something different. You catch it, cool, and it's a
Yeah.
cool little experience, but it's not something that you need to pay $150 for.
Right.
you know,
Right.
and thank God, because there's enough's enough with having to pay for all that shit. So I'm glad the Disney drone show is coming.
Yeah,
What
I'm
about
excited about it.
well, I can assure you that we are not going to go see the debut of it because that's just excessive. But we may see it the following week. Who knows? Because we got family coming into town,
Yeah.
so you never know. We may have a nice little review of it here in a couple of weeks. Now, this this next one is a Molotov cocktail that was thrown at me.
Is this the ridiculous? Oh no, this is not. This is. I know what this is.
Guys, can
This
I
is
just say,
courtesy of Pat from Not
yeah,
Club
well,
33, who likes to start stuff with Bobby.
yes, he absolutely does. He likes to do the writing for me, basically, when it comes to me and my bullshit. So you have him to thank for bringing this to my attention and pissing me off. Per Scott Gustin on Twitter, okay, Bob Iger on Moana as a franchise. We're really starting to lean into investment in the parks on Moana. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Let me just go ahead and start off by saying, if you like this movie, that's okay. If your kid loves this movie and you watch it on repeat all the time, that's fine. I am glad that there is a movie like that and that you derive enjoyment of it. I am not taking that away from you. Okay. but I am going to go ahead and say there's no way that I am ever going to actually enjoy this movie. There's just none. And the reason why, I've never seen it. I don't really have an intention of seeing it, but I'm sure that I will have to, because at some point we're going to get a little Rugrat running around here, and we're going to have to put something on the TV to shut him up. But I'm over Moana. I'm over Encanto. I'm over Coco. I'm over every single one of the new modern. I'm over Frozen. I'm over anything that has been released by Disney Animation or Pixar post 2009. The cutoff line for me is Toy Story 3. That's the one. That's where I'm anything after that, I'm done. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't want it in the parks. And I realize that I'm in the minority on this, but I am sick and tired of every single new attraction just rumor being about Moana. I genuinely am. What say you?
Okay, so I've seen Moana. I enjoy Moana. It is one of my favorite of the princess movies. And I think there is a place for Moana. I don't think it needs to be everywhere. We do not need to give Moana the same treatment that we gave Frozen, because that just got real old real quick.
Why do you think I am the way that I am?
Oh, I know.
About this. It's gotten old to me already.
I don't like the fact that they're doing a second Moana movie. It doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't.
Yes, it does, because God forbid that Disney have artistic integrity. No. They have to milk every last fucking red cent.
Right, and that's another thing that's making me mad about all of this is the fact that instead of coming up with original ideas like they used to,
like Moana was at one point.
Moana was. It was an original idea. Even if it was based off of folklore or legend, or it was still for a Disney movie an original idea.
Yes.
Leave it like that. We don't need the sequel, because here's the thing, and you would have thought Disney would have learned their lesson, because the majority of their sequels do not do well.
Except for Frozen, which got made like $1 billion trillion. So,
Yeah, I don't understand why we can't be creative anymore.
You know what? Here's the thing. Fuck it. I'm all in. Let's do it. Let's just do it. You know what? Here's what we should do. Okay? You ready for this? You ready for this? Call it some armchair imagineering, if you will. Here's what I propose. I propose that we drop all future plans that have been announced, and we collect all of them, as well as some repeats from all the other parks that are out there. And instead, what we do is we somehow shove Moana into those attractions, whether it's Splash Mountain. Instead of Tiana, let's put in Moana. Instead of Space Mountain. Yep, that's right. You're going to be floating around at night on one of those boat rides. Instead of this new Indiana Jones thing, no. Let's do the volcano coaster that I've heard about. Let's do that. Or let's make another Jungle Cruise, but just exclusively with Moana. You know what? In fact, let's make it all into one new park. Let's do it. Let's make that the fifth gate.
Moana theme park?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's make it Magic Kingdom style too, while we're at it. Instead of a Cinderella's castle, we got a sand castle. I mean, why not at this point? Every fucking rumor that comes out has something to do with Moana. Moana's got an attraction. It's broken, by the way. The final scene that's supposed to be spectacular for the journey of water, broken and behind construction walls right this second. So clearly, whatever investment they Bob Iger is talking about into Moana in the theme parks has failed. because they can't even get they can't get a water fountain to work. That's what it is. It's a glorified water fountain. And we can't get that to work. But let's make goddamn sure that we slap Moana and on every fucking lunchbox and every single attraction that comes out. Let's make sure that we do that. Why am I the only one who's like this?
You're not.
Am I the only one who's saying it, though? I mean, like, that's a genuine question.
You might be the only one saying it. I mean,
no, I don't think that anybody else has come up with a sandcastle yet for a Moana theme park.
I mean, you also have to admit, we are one of the few, podcasts out there, or, any sort of media out there that will very openly criticize things that Disney does. So many of these, the other publications that are out there don't want to say anything bad about Disney.
Except for you with that Bose candle place, but let's move on.
But I think there's more people out there that feel like you do. I mean, to a degree, I feel like you do. We don't need Moana everywhere. We don't need a second movie. We don't need everything to be Moana themed. Disney needs to get some creative, juices back. This is why I'm getting fed up with Iger.
Whoa. No, the mission is to milk every single cash cow until you turn it into steak. And then make it Wagyu beef. Like $3,000 a pound for no fucking reason. Wagyu beef, please.
Like, I'm getting fed up with a lot of this. You're a lot more vocal about it than I am.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? God forbid that any of the other Disney content creators are watching. Please, for the love of God, just like speak up if you don't like something, because like I get it that you want to ultimately gain special access or treatment from Disney, and that's why you're sucking their metaphorical dick about all of these new things that honestly aren't any good, but you keep telling people that they are. I get it to a degree. Also, like, be intellectually honest at this point. Like,
the more that these mediocre things get praised, the more mediocre things we're gonna get. Exactly. If we really want Disney to go back, especially Disney World, to go back to like it was when things were taken care of and you didn't have the maintenance issues and you didn't have it looking like it, it does at points. Even rides like Carousel of Progress were properly maintained. If we wanted to get back to that, then we need to let them know that. Like, we can't keep praising mediocrity and expect things to get better.
If I may turn into an emoji, I mean, that's where I'm at. And thank you for putting it way more eloquently than I did, but it's just enough is enough is enough. And I just, it sucked the joy out of everything for me when they keep doing this stuff. And speaking of joy leaving, by the way, and how's that for a segue? That brings us to the headline of the week. Now, most of all of the previous headlines of the week were all from the same website, all from the same
by the same author,
by the same author, all clickbaity as fuck. I'm certain that if you know Disney media, you know exactly which website I'm talking about.
Or you can at least narrow it down.
Exactly, but even some of the better ones that I tend to go to, they're just as guilty as everyone else. This coming from a site that I won't reveal, but I've talked about positively on this show before. Headline: Joy has left Epcot.
They're talking about the character from Inside Out, aren't they?
Yes, they are. according to this article, Joy will be debuting over at Hollywood Studios on June 10th. However, in the interim, the Inside Out meet and greet has ended at Epcot. So that ultimately means that, yes, Joy has left Epcot. It's also, according to this article, the draft title for no less than 3 other articles for this website. Now, I, of course, clicked on this article thinking, finally, someone who's a kindred spirit. Someone who is also just tired and fed up like I am with all the Moana crap or something along those lines. No, they were fucking talking about the Tinkerbell lookalike thingamajig from Inside Out. What? Is it not a Tinkerbell lookalike?
I mean, she has blue hair.
Does she not look like a fairy?
No.
I think she looks like Tinkerbell. Sorry, God forbid. All right, whatever. She's yellow and has a green dress, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a similar style of dress or whatever. She looks like Tinkerbell. I don't care. You can swap her out to dot the castle here in a few years, I'm certain. After they make Inside Out 3, that's what they'll do. Because, they won't have any other ideas left. And, just wait until we get into, someone, never mind, with trauma. I mean, just saying, wait for that little, is it an emoji? Is that what they are?
What?
The
Inside Out characters?
Yeah, I mean,
they're emotions.
I mean, yeah, but they're representations of emotions, which is what an emoji is it not?
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm calling it the Disney version of an emoji.
Okay.
She's a live action emoji or CGI emoji. Yeah, point being, yes, that if you had any wants and desires to go over and meet Joy, you're going to have to do so over at Hollywood Studios. And I'll go ahead and say, yep, my Joy has left Epcot. It has. Thanks, Moana. It's all her fault. That's where I'm at. So, Amanda, has any Joy left up Epcot for you?
I mean, I'm still trying to get used to this new Epcot. I'm not thrilled at the moment.
So the Joy is in fact gone?
Meh, it can come back though.
It can come back.
We shall see.
Well, all right. Well, Amanda, we're on social media, are we not?
We are on social media.
Where might we be found on social media?
You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. You can find us everywhere else. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Threads. I think I covered everything at Cynics on Disney. And side note, this episode will come out my last week of school. So hopefully that means in the near future I can start actually adding content to our social media sites.
Certainly more so than you have been. I'm going to be cracking.
I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas floating around. So
whip crack is what I'm saying. Also, guys, this whole show, this podcast, YouTube show, what have you, is brought to you, of course, by NotClub33.com. Make sure that you check out NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates, including but not limited to the Notcast, which now that we're starting to head into summertime, let's be honest, it's going to be once every couple weeks at best. It is on that. We got a lot of shit to do during the summertime. It's my busy season for my real job. All of the rest of the crew are making some sort of travel arrangements. And so therefore, we're going to have to go on a limited schedule. But we are going to try our best over at the Cynics on Disney podcast to continue to create content for you on a weekly basis. So stay tuned to that over the summertime. We also need to come up with like another summer of thing, because all that sticks in my mind is the summer of George. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of Seinfeld episodes about George that I can somehow tie into Disney World.
We'll brainstorm.
I mean, there's a lot of episodes where he's cheap. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel at Disney World. So not for nothing, there is a little bit of that, tie in there, but also, him screaming, "I was in the pool." Never mind. We won't need to get into that. And so, um, guys, we are now on YouTube, but we are still on podcast platforms, believe it or not. So make sure that you are subscribed to this here YouTube channel and to whatever podcast platform that you are checking us out on, be that Apple, on Google, on Spotify, on Amazon, wherever you are getting your podcast. Make sure that you give us a rating and review, preferably 5 stars. But you know what? I'm okay with you being honest. You tell me. Give us a solid, give us a real review. We would love to hear it. Also, when you are on YouTube, please do leave comments because, God, I love these comments and the feedback that we are getting from you guys. I respond to pretty much every one of them. It may take me a week to figure it out, but I do try to respond to every single one of the comments that are out there. So thank you guys for interacting with us. We genuinely appreciate it. While you're at, and like I said, guys, the more that you subscribe, rate, and review and everything like that, that actually helps us out. It gets us out into the algorithm so that we can be exposed to more listeners, and particularly now that we are a video podcast as well, you do not want me exposing myself in any other way. Until next time, guys, we want you to have yourselves a magical fucking day.